On a deeper note, Erik, could you tell my listeners a little more about Norwegian psychiatry?
Yes, as I told, we are leading in Europe in numbers, and I will start with some easy statistic. Each year, more than 10,000 Norwegians are put into psychiatry against their will.
Against their will?
And against their will, yes. And that means that about 50% of the patients in Norwegian psychiatry are there against their will. In Denmark, for comparison, only 5% of the patients are there against their will. So one could wonder, are we a more insane population than in other European countries, or is there something else behind this? We got the statistics from SINTEF, an organization for research in Norway, and what they wrote about these numbers, it was just a calculation because it was very difficult to get the exact numbers. And one thing that says a lot of the system is that in 1996, 11 years ago, there was more than 9,500 people forced into psychiatry.
Forced?
Yes, forced.
This sounds like a police state.
Yes. So, and many of them complained, and of those complaints, only 49 of those were confirmed by the authorities. So only 49 were let out of psychiatry. They said that, okay, it was wrong to put you into psychiatry. And it is the so-called control commissions that are there to supposedly secure the judicial security of the patients. And at that time there was 57 of those control commissions. And that's more control commissions than people who were given that they favored, that they agreed with.
This is a very frightening situation. Now, in the medication of children, could you enlarge on that, Erik?
Yes. For some years ago, the United States were leading on this. That was the country, or what I've heard, that the UN was concerned about the US, but in the later years, Norway has taken the leading position there, and the use of medication of children with some kind of behavioral problem has increased more than 10 times since 1996, and there was a documentary on this on television, TV2, the so-called kind of private monopoly beside the state channel, and they interviewed one of the leading proponents of medication of children, and she just revealed herself in every possible way that when they talked about the possible unhealthy consequences of this medicament, she didn't want to say something about that, and just said that, oh, it's fine that medication increases, and even though we have healthy alternatives like fish oil that has been experimented with, completely natural, against for use for pupils in school with behavioral problems. Yes. And but let me just go back to psychiatry. I mentioned the control commissions. We had So my organization has worked on representing people who are forced into psychiatry. And a few years ago, there was a woman who was not far from Lillehammer, was forced into an institution there, and she complained and wanted our help, and wanted our help to represent her, but she wasn't allowed to that.
Good heavens.
Yes.
That is really serious. So what you're saying, in effect, Erik,
yes,
the powers that be, it makes the Gestapo like a benevolent society, so a person can be virtually lifted and put into an institution whether they like it or not. Is that correct?
Yes, and I haven't even come to the worst now, because we have from our newer history in Norway some grave example of people, real dissidents, who have disclosed illegal conditions. There was, I like to call him the most well-known Norwegian dissident. He died 11 years ago, and he, in 1971, he was forced into psychiatry. They said that he had this, his name was Arnold Yklerød, and they said that he had this fantasies of the local authorities had broken the law in association when they had closed down a local school. And in 1995, after much ado, the department said that yes, he's right, it was illegal, but his diagnosis was still there until his death in 96, and it's never been taken away. And even when he complained about his diagnosis, there was a commission that would look at him and say, is this man insane, as they say? And they wrote a report, and the very funny but tragic thing, they wrote that he had an latent and symptom-free mental disease. So he was mental disorder, but there was no symptoms. Only a psychiatrist could know that he was insane.
Indeed, yeah. Now, could you tell me, Erik, how does the Norwegian childcare system function or work? Is it really as bad as what you just outlined?
Yes. Now, another board member of Fampo is Joar Tranøy. He's a researcher, and last year he wrote a report on behalf of the university in Stockholm, where he looked at 37 cases where parents had contacted him, and he looked at those who are looking psychological on this, and looking at the parents and the whole family, and answer, is this parents fit to take care of their children, or have we or must we take them away and put them into another home or some special institution? And of those 37 reports, in 18 of them, that's about half of them, those in charge of finding the facts showed to what others had said, not themselves. And in 16 of these cases, there were they used information that was based on slander or rumors.
Yeah.
And in 18 cases, there were non-controlled information given as facts.
Yeah, there's information that couldn't be corroborated. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. Now, the next question... sorry, I beg your pardon. Carry on.
And there were only lots of other mistakes. And